have an advert, right? And then from that advert, it directs them into a landing page, otherwise known as a registration page. Same concept. And inside that registration page, you're inviting them into what we call an awareness program. What do we mean by that? That is a program that identifies what it is that you do, how you do it, and provides the potential customer to take the next logical step. Does that make sense? So remember yesterday I spoke about having a video here. This is your awareness program. So depending on your market, your audience, and so on, you can have this as a 90-minute presentation. You can have it as a virtual event. It's also a 60 to 90-minute presentation. And you can also have it as what we call a VSL, the video sales letter. There are other variations of that, but those are the main three. So this one, video sales letter, typically somewhere between 12 to 30 minutes, 15-minute average, depending on what you sell, who you're selling to, etc. And a virtual event is typically going to be 60 minutes to 2 hours, and a webinar is going to be typically 60 minutes to 90 minutes. So the difference between a virtual event and a webinar, some of you may be asking, is a webinar is typically done in a live environment online, whereas a virtual event is done in a more of a non-live environment, whereby it is recorded live, but then it is replicated time and time again. And that, by the way, if you can get it right and you have the right level of communication, which we will speak about more on Saturday/Sunday, you have the right level of communication flowing through it, and you have to deliver the right level of value, that is the most optimum way to do it in terms of freeing up your time. Because here is where you can present your first PVO, what we call your premium value offer. And you'll present that in a clear and compelling way. And if you're selling something that is typically above, say like the £1,000 mark, then you want to be selling that through not through a checkout page, but you want to be selling that typically through a phone call. Because I can almost assure you, if 10 people go to your checkout page, 10 people will probably go to your checkout page and then go somewhere else. And they'll go, oh, that sounds good, but let me just do some cooking and think about it. Make sense? But if they go to a booked call with a specialist consultant, specialist advisor, etc., who can then guide them down the right path, answer any questions that they may have, details, how does it work, etc., then they're much more likely to get more of a much higher return. So 10 people book a call. If you're really good, product is polished, etc., maybe you get 5 purchases. On average, maybe you get 3, 4, 5, rather than the 0 to 1. Make sense? Increases your conversion significantly. This is where most people will begin, is deliver, and that's the way that I would guide you to begin as well, is to deliver the live webinar. Why? Because it will help you to master your delivery. It will help you to identify what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what people want, what's working, what's not working, and so on. And it will allow you to tweak and change it as you progress and as you go through it. So typically you want to be, if you look at, for example, if you were to scan Laura's QR code later on, she's now doing £2.5 million a year following this process. Okay? Because she captures people through high quality messaging on the front end, and then she has product, programs and services that she sells to them on the back end. Does that make sense? So because she has clear and distinctive communication, and she's able to build a team that's able to then sell on the phones, etc., and do the other things on the back end, then it becomes fairly hands-off for her to be able to generate income on a fairly continual basis. Does that make sense? So that's the premise of the advert. It's on YouTube, typically 1 to 3 minutes. Facebook, Instagram, typically 60-second ad. Okay? Then you invite them into an awareness program. This is going to be typically free, and there are strategies where you can do a paid one, but it's kind of like higher level. But you can have a free awareness program, a video sales letter, a virtual event, a webinar, etc. And then from there, you have what we call an accelerator program. Now the accelerator program is specifically designed to get your clients quick wins within a relatively short space of time. Okay. So that could be an online event, that could be a 2-day training, it could be a 4-day training, like where we are now, you know? Yeah. And then you want to have what we call, and by the way, this is all one-to-many. And the value of that is that you're able to serve multiple people at the same time, build those connections, and add significant value to your audience in a short space of time. Make sense? And for some people, they would want to investigate more, and they would want further training, guidance, mentorship training from you. Make sense? And that's where your academy program comes in, and that is specifically designed to give people long-term support and provide sustainable, long-term results. See the difference? Yeah? So once you have that process dialed in, then there's nothing stopping any of you from creating a high-level 6-figure, if not a 7-figure plus company. And what we do when we mentor you is we demonstrate to you, okay, what is the most optimum way for Mel to do it? What is the most effective way for Kunmi to do it? What is the most effective way for Laura to do it? What is the most effective way for Haley to do it? Because each of your audiences will be nuanced, there'll be differences. Make sense? Each of your levels of experience, your expertise, there'll be differences. So you're going to need to know, okay, what is the most optimum way for my business to do this? And we break that down for you and then demonstrate. So that's what I did with, I'll show you the video later on, but that's what we did with Shola, for example. So she came in, she kind of was like selling stuff through social media, doing okay, sort of 5, 6, 7 grand a month. And then I showed her this process, and then in the mentoring session, we showed her how to break that up. And now what she has a really compelling ad, going from somebody who was like, oh, I don't even like to be on social media, I just post like text. I'm like, stop doing that shit. And then she's got a really compelling ad that leads her into, for her, it leads them directly into a phone call, and then it leads them directly into an accelerator program and or into her academy program. So this is where she's now able to sell fairly consistently 15 grand programs, which means that a 15 grand solution, 10 clients a month, it's not that difficult to get 150K a month. Make sense? So that's how it works.